guys, so here you go. Here are the original boxes for the Air Jordan 13 Flints. These are all of the variations for the Air Jordan 13 Flint. So we got the OG, we have the 2005, the 2010, and the 2020. So let's go ahead and go over the OG. Alright, so the OG comes in this silver top box with the Jumpman at the top. So you've been seeing these types of boxes come back in recent years with the Air Jordan 13, so it's pretty cool that they're paying homage. They got the silver tag here with the red Jumpman. This is a size 10. Note the colors on all of them. This one in particular is going to be navy, Carolina blue, Flint gray, and white. It is a size 10. The style number is 136002 and the color code is 441. So you open it up and you get the original Air Jordan 13 in there with this style tissue paper. The next one we have is the 2005 Air Jordan 13, and it comes with the 20th anniversary, signifying 20 years of the Jumpman from 85 to 05. All around the box, the initiatives on the side, and then the box label here. So size 10 Air Jordan Retro 13. I forgot to note that the OG was $150. These are also $150. And this comes in French blue, University blue, and Flint gray. The style number is 310004 and color code is 441. So here is the 2010. Comes in this dark gray box with the silver Jumpman up top, Jordan on the side, and it's one of the bigger boxes amongst the other ones. This is the Air Jordan 13 Retro. Went up $10 in 2010 to $160. The color is French blue, University blue, Flint gray, and white, and style number is 414571. Color code is 401. And finally the 2020, so it comes back with the silver top box, silver all-around box I should say, and with a smaller tag up here. It says the Air Jordan 13 Retro. It is $190. Color on the box is navy, University blue, and the style number, just like 2010, was 414571, but the color code is different. It's 404. So you can see here, as far as sizing of the box, the 2010 is the biggest of them. Coming here to 2005, you can see a little bit smaller box. And then bringing here the OG, you guys can see pretty much the same type box, same width, same length. This is the 2005, this is the OG from 1998. Now the difference in inserts with the box is that with 2005, we were still getting retro cards. So you can see here Michael Jordan pictured along with the black cat, which is his nickname. On the back gives you some information all the way up to the Air Jordan 19. None of the years after that came with any sort of retro card. This is the 2020. This is the 2010. So the only retro card is the 2005. Alright, so I think to do the comparison, we're going to be doing two styles at a time. So what I think is most important is bringing the OG, of course, and the 2020. So what I feel the 2020 is trying to achieve is the look, shape, and feel of the OG. Well, I've said in previous videos that Jordan Brand won't be able to exactly hit the OG in a retro, only because that's really difficult to do when you try and replicate things other than like materials, sourcing the materials. I do feel that they can get the colors right at the very least, but you know, as far as shape and everything like that, putting together something by the look, you know, even extracting parts of an OG, I think it's still pretty tough to kind of get close. But so here it is, the OG versus the 2020. One thing that I want to note is that the colors of the grays. So they've got it pretty close. Here's the OG, here's the 2020. The OG is going to have that lighter gray all around the shoe, on the back, on the sides, on the midsole. And here's the 2020. Just a tad darker. I think it's pretty close. As far as the navy colorway is concerned, they brought that back for the first time since the OG. As I said earlier in the video, they were using French blue as a colorway, but they did go lighter on the navy for the 2020 versus they did with the OG. Still has that darker print on it. So darker on the navy, lighter on the suede, darker on the suede, and lighter on the navy of the 2020. When we look at the soles here on the bottom, you can notice a big difference with the hologram there. As you know, the OG on the hologram is faded out, as well as on the bottom. Now I would, and a lot of people have talked about using a hair dryer or heat to extract that fogginess of the hologram. I do fear that there would be cracking later on, or putting any other type of chemicals on there, it would completely destroy that hologram. So as fogged up as it is, I'm just going to leave it as is. That's the way that it has aged over time. Here is the 2020. They put a plastic cover right over the hologram, and then the bubble on there is protruding just a bit. So that's not present on the OG. You can see that's different. The color of the carbon fiber, it's darker on the 2020 versus the OG. And then as far as the grays on the bottom, those hits are darker and these are lighter. So they've kind of switched out the color variations all throughout the shoe between the OG and the 2020. So I'm not sure if they're trying to get it exactly close or they're paying homage to people that have the OG versus what most people will get with the 2020. As far as the insole is concerned on the OG has a navy insole with a dark blue Jumpman, and the 2020 has a navy insole with a university blue Jumpman. So interchangeably, you can call university blue Carolina blue. Michael Jordan did go to North Carolina, and it's a university, no doubt, and they use Carolina blue or university blue as the moniker there. So that's what the 2020 looks like, and that's what the OG looks like. So there's a difference in Jumpmans between like the stitching, stitch work, and all that. And you guys can already tell as far as like tongues are concerned, this part right here. So one thing about the OG I did like is that the leather is rolled up and the fabric is tucked beneath the tongue. So they've started doing this with the UNC Jordan 3s, and then there was a 3 prior to that they did. They started re-remastering the Air Jordan 3 to make it look like the original look of the Air Jordan 3. They also started doing that with 1, so it's going to be pretty interesting to see if it goes on to other models. I don't see that here on the Jordan 13 because, obvious to that, you can see that the fabric tucks over the leather instead of beneath it. As far as leather quality is concerned, I will probably go over that when I bust out all of them, but between these two, obviously the OG is going to win because it's got the softer leathers, more genuine feel to it, the genuine look and usage of the leathers on the original versus the synthetic on the 2020. So big difference there when it comes to quality of the types of materials used on there. So let's go ahead and bring out the 2005 and the 2010. Alright, so here's the 2005 and here is the 2010. Now the reason I'm bringing these two out to compare is because of the colors. So both of them use the French blue color, and I'm not sure why they changed that over time. The original was navy, but they started going into this French blue color, and a lot of people were upset about that. One of the big differences between the two here is that the 2010 is going to be a lighter shade of that blue versus a darker shade of that on the 2005. 2010 also does not have 3M on the upper as opposed to the 2005, which does, the OG does, and the 2020 does. So as far as 3M on the Flint Gray 13. It does not have it on the 2010. As far as the grays on the upper, it's pretty much near identical. You know, just I would say maybe just a shade darker on the 2005 versus the 2010. And it's really easy, you know, upon the naked eye to get these guys confused, but just know that the lighter shade of that is going to be on the 2010, and then a little bit more of a darker shade on the 2005. I still, like, when I'm looking at first glance, I have to like really think about, oh yeah, okay, this could be the 2010 or this could be the 2005. You know, a lot of people, I guess, prefer the 2010. I'm not sure why. It goes for a little bit more dollar on the resale market. Not sure why either. Maybe because it's a little bit more recent, but you know, 2020 is probably going to level that out a little bit. But I really think that the 2005 is the better version between these two. I wouldn't say it's closer to the OG, but it's got a little bit more of a characteristic of the OG in there. The leather quality up top, you can see that there's a heavy tumble on the 2010 versus the 2005. Again, not a fan of the tumble look. Tumble doesn't necessarily mean that it's softer. The 2005 is actually a bit more decent quality than the 2010. As far as the Jumpmans on the tongue, they're pretty much near identical. If I bring it up here to the camera, you guys can see. You guys can tell me what you feel like are the differences, but I feel like it's pretty similar, even down to the color. You know, not that bad. The lining on the inside there, the difference in color is that the shade of the 2010 is a little bit darker than it is on the 2005. You can see that the leather doesn't roll back. It's pretty much, you know, peeking through with the fabric up here up top. Again, my preference is that the leather, you know, goes up and hides the fabric, just like the OG. And then the bottoms here, not too much of a difference. Lighter blue on the carbon fiber of the 2010 to match the upper, and then darker on the 2005. A little bit more of a hit on the hologram there for the 2010. I think that's just because it's a newer model. 2005 is slowly starting to fade, just like the OG. Darker grays on the bottom for the 2010 versus the 2005. And then one thing I thought that was interesting between all four colorways, the 2005 has a French blue colorway of the insole with a university blue Jumpman. And the 2010 has that Flint gray insole with a white Jumpman. Alright, so let's go ahead and reintroduce the OG and the 2020. So you guys can take a look at each one from a bird's eye view, and you guys can let me know what your guys' similarities are, differences between the shoes. I'm pretty sure you're thinking in the video, like, why the hell does he have the same colorway of the same shoe? But I just really think it's fascinating to see like how the progression, if any, is throughout the years between the Air Jordan 13s and, you know, any other models in the Air Jordan line altogether. So when you guys look at all the colorways here, you tell me what your overall opinion is between all of them. I'll let you guys know what I feel is the best overall, but let me go ahead and break down the look, the shape, the feel, and the quality. So as far as leather's concerned, I would rank the OG being best because they were able to still use genuine materials for the leather. Then since the 2005 is pretty much close to the OG and the feel of the leather doesn't feel that plasticky, I would say the 2005 ranks next. Then between 2010 and 2020, they're both tumbled leathers, which doesn't also necessarily mean that it is better quality leather. It's just the way that they treat the leather. The literal sense of the term, they really tumble the leather here. But it's really a toss-up in quality, feel. I even had my daughters, because I was just like really progressively like just trying to feel the leathers here, and they're pretty much the same. One of my oldest daughters, she had picked the 2020. My youngest daughter, she had picked the 2010. And me, I just feel like it's a toss-up between the two. So like the leather on these two are pretty much the same. Alright, OG, 05, 2010, 2020. You guys can check out the shape. I prefer the shape of the OG. It's going to have a slimmer look to it. Don't feel like it's as high as the 3 versions thereafter. Again, like the OG is geared more towards performance, these are more geared towards the retro look and lifestyle product. So as far as shape are concerned, I would probably go OG, 2005, 2010, and 2020. There is an interesting note here when it comes to the shape of the material here. So you'll notice here on the OG, you see how like this piece comes down towards the toe and is close to this part right here by the midsole. So this gap over the years has widened for some reason, and you guys can see like how much surface area is covered. So with the OG, it's closed a little bit more of a gap between the midsole point and that piece right there. On the 2005, you can see there's a little bit more of a gap for that. When it comes to the 2010, it's widened a lot more, and then the 2020 a lot more as well. So I'm not sure why it's like that. This is on the medial side of the shoes, so you guys can see over the years, not so much of a gap, a little bit more of a gap, a lot more of a gap, a lot more of a gap. So they don't cut these all the same, it's different. As far as like, you know, the fabric part of the Air Jordan 13, they've loosened up the fabric over the years for these guys, so a little bit more looser, and we get tighter as we get to the OG. So, you know, the feel of it doesn't have like a lot of dead space in here. It's tight, it's pillowy, it's nice. When you get to the 2020, there's a lot of like play in there, not as tightly compacted. You can stretch this out a little bit more. Another funny thing too is that with the vent holes of the tongue, you guys can see they're bigger on the OG, and it extends all the way down to this tag right here. So you'll see holes here. You won't see it on the 2005, and the holes are smaller. So for some reason, all the versions, they've eliminated the holes there, just right there at the vamp of the shoe, which I'm curious to know why they did that. So you see all 3 of those don't have the holes, but the OG does. So again, I would think that's a performance aspect. You want more air circulation coming through the shoe. They made the bigger holes and, you know, even extended it down toward the vamp of the shoe. Since we're down here, we'll go ahead and look at the Jordan tag here. You know, it's got Jordan in white, nothing on the other side. That's how the OGs were. On the 2005, shares the same similar characteristic of that. Jordan on the front in white, nothing on the back. Then when you get to 2010, same thing, but on the underside, it has Jordan in a shadow print, or, you know, that dark look to it, printed on the back side. And then when it comes to the 2020, white Jordan, and then on the back has 13. Another thing that I found pretty interesting was that the fabric behind the nylon straps here of the OG, this is like a felt fabric. And then when you get to the 2005, it's backed with leather. So 2005 is the only one that's backed with leather, while all the other ones share the same characteristics of the OG with that felt-like feel to it behind there. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I'm not sure which one I prefer. I would assume that 2005 would have better quality there with a leather-backed nylon strap there, just to give it a little bit more support, which is not present on the OG. And then you guys all know the size tags behind the tongues. They're all different. So this is the look of the OG. Here's the look of the 2005. Here's the 2010. And then the 2020. So the tall tongue as far as these different colorways are concerned, the 2005 and the 2010 both share characteristics of a taller tongue. They went a little bit lower on the 2020, but the OG is just going to be the shortest amongst all of them. They don't have any of the elastic bands that hug the strobel of the shoe, and that's not present on the OG. That's kind of like why it's dipping down here. And then these have the cardboard inserts in all of them. These have the paper inserts. So again, you don't have the elastic bands that go down into the strobel board of each one. So it's kind of like a free playing tongue. So that's why you have like this leather tab here that's cut out in the tongue so you guys can keep it in place. As far as that spacing that I talked about here, there's another piece right here. Let me pull out the OG. There's a space right here just above the hologram that you can see that has a bit of space there. So you can check out the shape of that. Over the years, the 2005 pretty much eliminates that spacing. Here's the 2010. And then the 2020. So you can pretty much see like a difference there as far as shape's concerned. So differences. As far as padding is concerned between all the models, I feel, in my opinion, the 2010 has the best padding. It's got it all the way down into the tongue, a little bit more plush. Even when you go down towards the heel, it's got a lot more of that foam backing there, and it's thick. Then I feel that the toss-up would be between the 2005 and the OG as far as padding is concerned. Given that the OG is a little bit older, I'm not sure if the quality of the foam has diminished, but between these two, I feel like they're about the same. And then with a little bit less padding in the 2020, not so much so in the tongue, so I deduct some points there, and a little less padding all throughout, but still a decent amount for your foot. And so that is my comparison between the OG, the 05, the 2010, and the 2020. What do I rank them? So obviously I'm going to go with the OG because it's what I remember, what I know. It's what they've used for decent quality materials overall, shape, feel, textures, all of that. I feel like the OG is the one that is the number one overall when it comes to really trying to remaster, and that's pretty much what all these retros are, trying to remaster it to as close as the OG as possible. The one gripe again that I had, or actually two gripes, are the leather quality. It's never been the same as it's been on the OG. They can try and do it as much as they want, but until they use genuine materials on the toes of the Air Jordan 13, the OG is going to reign supreme over that, as well as like the look and shape of the tongue. You can see, as I pointed out, the OG and how that leather and the fabric, it tucks over. It's going to be a better look, better feel. Ventilation holes, obviously, as well for performance and all that. So this is the clear winner when it comes to overall quality. The next one on my list would probably be the 2005. It is closer to the I got a loose thread. It is closer to the OG in terms of like materials, I suppose, but again, it's going to have the better leather on there as opposed to 2010 and 2020. So next one after that, honestly, I would go with the 2020 over the 2010 for third place because of the 3M return of the fabric there. So they returned that. They also made the grays look closer to the OG, a little bit darker on the materials overall as opposed to the lighter look of the 2010. But I mean, it's really your preference. Although I would rank this fourth, I think it does have a vibrant look to it. So you new school kids will probably like this one better because of the way it just pops off the foot. But again, that is my review and comparison of all the years. So OG, 05, 2010, and 2020. Alright guys, so that is your review of the Air Jordan 13 Flint. If you guys are interested in the pair, I have links down below in the description. And, you know, again, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook if you guys want to check out any other stuff that I post on social media. And of course, here, subscribe to me on YouTube. Anything else, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for the support. Gladly appreciate it. I'll talk to you guys later. Take care.